Hello, good evening. This is Mike at Night. Thank you very much for joining us once again. We are here on Thursdays around this time. That is 9 o'clock on a Thursday. Well, it is Atlantic Standard Time. And we talk relationship matters. We talk about things to help develop your intimacy levels. Today, we're talking about some of the relationships you should not enter into with men and women. Yes, we'll explain the sessions when we come back because, first of all, we've got to pay some bills, so we'll be right back.
Don't let the weather of the day dictate your pace. I stayed cool every time I got into my vehicle, and you can too. At Tow School Center of 31 Gaskin Bay Road, Bonaccord, they specialize in auto air conditioning with parts and services catering to your car's needs. Call and ask for tows at 660-8777 or 788-3535. Tow School Center, where a comfortable ride is a cool ride.
Okay, so we have some courses, a workshop that we've been promoting. Let me just remind you that we have this workshop coming up on how to argue properly. We found that many people just don't know how to argue. Yep. So this workshop is a free workshop actually, and we're inviting you to be part of it. This free workshop is on the 12th of September. And if you want to register, you can go to the website www.michaelatstewart.com. We look forward to seeing you there. Then we have this other magnificent workshop called Marriages Are Not Broken, People Are. Whether you're married or not, you're invited to be part of this program. If you're planning to be in a relationship or not, because it helps you to get a premonition of what it is like in the expectation of marriage. So www.michaelatstewart is just $350. This one is not free, and it is $60 US for participation. We'll be covering a number of things that would improve your relationship and how to be able to exist properly in a relationship. I am looking forward for you to register and be part of that. Okay, so we're down to our topic this evening. It's a two-part series, I must say. The two parts are that we are looking to share with you serious relationships that you should avoid. Things that you should really avoid if you really want to make a happy relationship. There are some things that just stay away from. There's a reason for that. If you just want to just bounce in and bounce out of a relationship, you don't need to do much. You just need to just exist. Just run along with the tide. But if you're really looking for happiness and you're looking for a relationship that lasts, there are certain things that you do not get into. Now, one of the things that people don't like to say, because it is not politically correct, is this statement: be careful of the people you get into relationships with. Particularly when it comes to women, when you tell them that, they call that victim blaming. So, in essence, don't tell them to be careful about who they get into relationship with. Tell the other people how they should behave. So they call it victim blaming. But let me say this here, unashamedly. Men need to look to see. If the woman don't want to, that's all right. But men, be careful about the relationships you're getting into. And women, be careful of the relationships you get into. You and I have a responsibility to mitigate our chances of pain, hurt, and disappointment by just being judicious. Anybody would recommend you, if you're going to buy a car, be careful of the car that you buy. Do all your checks to make sure that you don't get fooled by the person selling you a lemon. That's not victim blaming. That is just careful, prudent purchase. When you're getting into a relationship, why should we be any less responsible in getting into relationships? So I hear all of the talk that's going on about, and it really amazes me how we would want to justify that the responsibility cannot be also put on the person who's selecting and only put on the person who's coming into the relationship. So if you really want to be serious, both men and women, just be careful. The second thing that I want to share is this. When we talk about men, and we talk about, for example, tonight we'll be talking about some of the relationship, the type of men that you should not get into a relationship with, that a woman should not be getting into a relationship with. Oh, we get the support of the woman. Yes, stay away from that kind of man. And that is right. When next week we start to talk about the type of woman to stay away from, and we talk about the qualities and the character, trust me, you'll see on Facebook them saying, and men too. It goes both ways, not just women, men also. So they're not taking responsibility. Some of them not going to take responsibility. They'll need to throw it back to say both of us. But when we're talking about the issues of men and the men to be careful about, you never hear it saying, and women too, that women and men do that. So I just putting all of that out there one time. You see, I don't have the kind of patience for the kind of fluff that has been going around, and the the kind of selective, and the one time we understand that balance is necessary and the next time it's not balanced. I'm just saying, so I'm not trying to offend anybody, but just taking that from you. Let me see who's on the line before we start. Happy Thursday, Lenora, Moses. Thank you very much. Joy, good evening to you. Okay, well, you know how it is when the technology goes, the technology goes. I'm not too sure at which point we go, but I was just hailing out all those people on Facebook. I hope that you all are still here with us. We just had a little technical glitch, but I'm happy that you all are still with us here. Okay, so the telephone number, you can WhatsApp a message, or you may send even make a WhatsApp call. It's free of charge any part of the world. You can call us at 868-688-5363. That is 868-688-5363. Okay, good to see Judith John on with us this evening. Wanda Jeffrey, good evening to you. Share the live, people. Share the live. Just put it shared on your page or your profile, and call somebody and say, log on. We're going to talk about some of the men. All you women out there, I want you to listen up, because there are some men that you should avoid in relationships. We're not going to pretend as though we have all perfect men outside of there. There are some bad men out there that need to be edited out of your lives. Just as there are toxic women that we need to edit out of our lives. All right. Number one, take note, my dear ladies. When you're getting into a relationship, it is important, before you settle down, before you make a choice, before you make your commitment in a relationship, for you to look not at the physical character of the person, the physical characteristics of the person, such as handsomeness, how tall the person is, how qualified the person is, what possessions the person has. Look at the character issues. We get into relationships because of the attraction that we have for them, and we put more emphasis on that. But when we're leaving, we leave based upon character issues. Therefore, go in with character. Look for character when you go inside of there. I want to say, number one, the type of man to seriously avoid. And I'm not saying that these men can't turn around and make good men, but I'm saying that when you see these things, these are red flags. Number one, men whose words are unreliable and questionable. That's number one. The man's word is unreliable and questionable, but give yourself time to find out. You can't be on the inside of the relationship, and those of you who are already on the inside, you could tell and you could start to assess whether this is a relationship you should continue to pursue if you're already inside of them. What do we mean by unreliable and questionable? I'm sure that you would have heard of situations where a woman might get into a relationship with a guy, they're going along nice, and then they find out that the guy has a child that in the early stage of the relationship, you never knew. Now, nothing is wrong with getting into a relationship with somebody who has a child. That's not what the issue is. Yes? Because people do things, things happen. Things happen for a number of reasons. So that's not the issue. The child is not a burden. The child is not a factor inside of this. It is the fact that that is hidden. You never knew until somebody exposed it, that a child exists for your man. The question that you have to ask yourself, why did he hide that? Because the reason that is important, well, he might give you a reason and say, well, boy, I didn't know how you would take it, etc. What else is he hiding? What else don't you know? You see, once you can't rely on a man's word, you can't rely on his, when you see who you get, that you can't say what I see is what I get, then you have to question it. One of the things, the hallmarks of our forefathers was a man's word was his bond. Once he gave his word or a promise, he keeps it at all costs. If you have a guy who flippantly would just make a promise to you and just don't keep it, red flag. And that happens consistently. Red flag. He promised to come and pick you up. He promised to take you out. He promised to do something for you. He promised to go and get something for you. And he does not follow up on it. Could it be that he's taking you for granted? Could it be that he's not serious and he's just giving you a bag to hold? If that is so, he will give you other bags to hold, other things to have expectations that he has no intentions of carrying out. No intentions of carrying. And really, where can you put your pot to boil with his water? Can you? Chances are not. Good evening, Alicia. Good evening to you. Nice for you to join us. Who is it? Rose Petal. Good evening to you. All you nice people who join us. Joel Akwi. Yes. Sipasad Nimala. Nirmala. Yes, you all just share the live. Share the live. So you've seen it so often where a woman gets into a relationship thinking the man is single and only to realize the man is married. Good evening, Jai. Good to have you. That the man is married. I've worked with people who, for all intents and purposes, the whole office thinks this lady is his girlfriend because all the staff functions, this particular person is who the person comes with. And I remember a particular example that every function of the staff, it was this woman he came with. So we never even thought of anything. The gentleman died. And I got a call from a woman saying, I am so and so. And I said, but I don't know you. Who are you? She said, I'm so and so's wife who just died. I said, he's married? Yeah. And he sleeps home by me every weekend. He goes to work for the week because he works at a distance, but he always comes home every weekend. That was a shock. And also a shock, I guess, to everybody in the office. Did she know that there was another woman who was coming to all the events and she was not there? She was never known about? I don't know. Yeah. Elon said you can't take the rain and plant corn. That's right. Absolutely. Good evening, Deanne, my sister. Online. Wonderful. Nice to have you. Let me tell you, you might take it easy and you might make excuses for somebody who don't keep the word, but that's a good clue. That's a good clue. You should be reliable. Because here's what, if you can't trust the person's word, trust is going to become a big issue in your relationship. You watch my word. Because when he says he worked late, but you know in all other areas you can't trust his word, how do you know he's in work and he's working late? Good evening, Karen. That's what you have to ask yourself. So don't take that for granted. So that's number one. I hope you all are taking notes. I hope you all are writing it down. And I hope if you're in a relationship with somebody who you can't take their word, start talking to that person. Start making some moves. Yes, Lamimi, I start without you. You come late. Second, the kind of man to stay away from, the kind of relationship with a man to stay away from, is a man who refuses to plainly declare his relationship status with regards to you. Let me say that again. If he is not prepared and he is hemming and hawing to introduce you properly, because if you're in a relationship with him and he fails to introduce you as a person he's in a relationship, ask yourself some questions. Ask yourself some questions. He's keeping you secret. No, you don't have to be on Facebook. You don't have to, the person doesn't have to post you on Facebook and all of that. Because I know some people start to feel that if I'm in a relationship with you, you're supposed to see me on Facebook with him. No, forget about that. Don't get into all of those gerrymanderings. But I'm talking about you in a function. This is a friend of mine. A friend of mine. Then if this is a friend of yours, then that means you're not in any serious relationship. Why is he hiding the status of it? Why is it on the Facebook? It is for status is complicated. Why? Is it that he has another girlfriend? Is it that he is flirting with other women and he doesn't want the other woman to know that there is somebody on the line? Is it because he's married? What is the issue if the person is in a relationship? And my dear lady, if you take that, then I'm sorry. If you are going to settle for that type of introduction, if you all are not in a relationship, that is different. If you all are just pure friends, then by all means, introduce, this is my friend, so and so. That's acceptable. But not if you're in a relationship. Let me see. Rose Petal say, well, boy, me like $1. I experienced before what you mentioned, but I'm learning. All right, Rose, you see? Rose understand what I'm talking about. Good evening, Sharon. So, and I think that a woman needs to insist on determining what are we? Where are we in this thing? So that he does not take you for a ride. You're not no fool. Don't let him take you for no ride. What if he's always with you but still introduces you as his friend? Then you're probably just a friend, and if therefore you are just a friend, don't expect any obligation of a relationship from a friend at all. So that's two. I hope you all taking note. When we take the break, I want somebody who has been following it and writing it down to post the ones that we've done, because we're going to take a break at the bottom of the hour. So for those who come in late, like my good friend Lamimi, they'll be able to know what we've covered so far. The pointers. So we've done 2 points already. One is a man who does not keep his word or is unreliable with his word. Watch that. Red flag. A man who refused to plainly explain the relationship status that you all are in. Watch that. Number 3, a man who has anger issues. Big red flag. Big red flag with that. Where he cannot control his temper. When he gets vexed, he says what in heaven's name he wants. He carries on with indiscretion. He is injudicious with the words that he uses to you, insult you, any and everywhere. Be very careful about that. And worse yet, if he feels that he's so aggrieved or what you have done is so egregious to him that he has to put his hand on you, watch that. Because it's not going to start soft and end up soft. It will end up hard. You know, I've met women who naively say to me, yes, I mean, he does get angry with people, and I just see him getting angry with his friends and people at work, and I hear him cuss them and so on. But he never cussed me. He has been nice to me, and I think he loves me. Yeah. You just wait. Your turn a come. Because if this is his behavior to others, what make you so cute that you are immune to the transgression and excesses of this man? What makes you think so? Come on, people. Yeah? Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Karen. Good evening, Sandra. Share the live, people. Go and tell other people to come on board. Just press share and put it on your profile and your page. People will follow us. It's all right. No problem at all. We want to welcome all of you. And if you are the first time on the program, we welcome you. Just put on it first time for me, please. So I've given you 3. I'm going to give you 1 more before we go to the break. So that anger issue, that is a no-no. Not with what is going on in society today and the kind of domestic violence that taking place. Do not even compromise on that. Let it be that it is once he even threatened. I'm talking about just the threat is enough as a red flag. Do not wait to find out whether it's serious enough. And let me tell you, men, don't make that as a joke. I was only kidding. I didn't mean that. I was just saying that because I just wanted she to cool down. No, sir. Do not make hitting and violence a joke in today's world. And women do not tolerate it. Do not even let them even think that they could make it as a pass. But let me tell you this also, and I'm just going to next week when we're talking about the women, to advise men to stay away from some toxic women. Let me just advise the woman. Some of all does really do some things, you know. Always do some things that not taking responsibility. And sometimes the men would tell you that they have been taunted by the woman. And I'll give you a real life example. One lady, she told me that, you know, her boyfriend hit her. And she's going to report it to the police. So I asked her to recount for me the situation. He said he take his elbow and he hunch. I hope that word is understood outside of the Caribbean. He hunch her. Take his elbow and hunch her. So she's going to report it to the police. Yeah, we say violence is wrong. When we're talking with the man in front of her now, and he's giving the explanation, here's what he said. That he's eating something. He's trying to get his attention to deal with a particular matter. He realizes that she's trying to look for an argument. So he picks up the things he's eating and he goes somewhere else and sits down. She follows him, all the while pushing him, tugging at him, poking him, and lashing him. He gets up, he goes somewhere else a second time. She follows him, all the while taking up things and hit him while she quarrels. He's saying nothing, he's doing nothing, etc. He went in a room, he's coming inside of the room, and he's trying to avoid getting himself entangled with anything. She's putting herself inside the room. He takes his elbow, pushes her back out, and locks the door. She said she's going to report it to the police. Some asked him, Miss, you heard what he just said? She said, yes. I said, is it that's the way how it took place? He just pushed you out, but it wasn't a hunch where it is he jammed you. Were you hurt? He says, no, I wasn't hurt, but he has no right to push me off. Because a man should not put his hand on a woman. Oh, heavens, man. Kyle said, that is provocation. That's right, Kyle. You understand me? So I'm saying to women, don't get into a situation with an angry man, a man who has an anger issue. But for heaven's sake, don't push the pencil. There is a limit to it. Yeah? Eva says she's provoking him because he's not responding to her expectation. That's right. But we're going to talk about it much more next week. Yes. La Mimi, yes, it's you are talking about. Charmaine said, what about a broken man who doesn't want to get help? But that's a whole thing. If you're in a relationship with a man who's broken, who doesn't want to get help, that's a toughie. Because if he has not healed from wounds of his past, he will bleed on somebody who never cut him. And that is what happens when people don't deal with their history and their brokenness. And there are a number of men and women, but today we're talking about the men. Next week we'll talk about that. There are a number of men who are broken, who are not happy, who have some issues in their past with past relationships that they were disappointed with. There are some men who could tell you that they were in a relationship that they thought was loving and so on, and the woman just walked. Yeah, but he has not healed from it. So he has entered a new relationship and is very suspicious. And his eyes are on her like a hawk to make sure that this one doesn't do me like what all the others did. Share the life, people. Somebody could gain something from tonight. It's 2 weeks we running with this. One with the men, tonight is the men. And you see how I seen all on this one here tonight? I hope I see all back and more next week when we're talking about the woman to avoid. You think they're easy? In today's world, the cadre of women that you could fish in the pond with, small, if you're really looking for a good woman. But here's what the woman also will say. The pond for men to pull up a good man out of that pond, very shallow. So everywhere we're having a shortage. Somebody sing this song, man shortage. Everywhere you go, man shortage. And it have people who say they will sell a man for $1. You want a man for $10, I could sell him. I could sell you a man for $100. Anyway, if Facebook would allow me to play music without cutting the show, as how they seem to want to do, I would have played you some of those songs. Ava says she enjoying her single life. Ava, I wonder how old are you? Ava, tell me how old you are. After a certain age, you just kind of get tired of the single life too, eh? But enjoy it while you have it. Is man who make woman bad. Now, Mimi, you have some real bad things in your history. Yeah. Kyle, why Kyle say he not coming on when we're talking about women? Hello, I need the men on for that one. Or you're not going to leave me alone here. Yeah. La 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 la. Yeah. Sandra say they never say what they do. All right. Oh, you said the woman won't come when we're talking about that. Ah, okay. All right. All right. Eva in her late 30s. Eva, you need to call me. You need to call me. I need to talk to you. You and La Mimi need a sit down. All right. What time is it? 9:32. Mr. Director, the able-bodied Sydney Jones. Let's take a break. When we come back, in the meanwhile, you all post the ones that we've covered so far for those who came on late. When I come back, we'll check it. We'll be right back. We got to pay some bills. I'm Michael Stewart, and this is Mike at Night.
Don't let the weather of the day dictate your pace. I stayed cool every time I got into my vehicle, and you can too. At Tow School Center of 31 Gaskin Bay Road, Bonaccord, they specialize in auto air conditioning with parts and services catering to your car's needs. Call and ask for tows at 660-8777 or 788-3535. Tow School Center, where a comfortable ride is a cool ride.
Okay, welcome back, my people. And let me tell you, I want you to register for this course. It is free, which means you can afford it. I want to talk to you about how to argue properly. Many times in the relationship, people argue, yet they blame the other person in the relationship for being the one arguing. But let me tell you, in order to have an argument, you need the cooperation of somebody else. The person can't argue by themselves. So you need to recognize that you have contributed towards the argument. Let's help you how to argue properly in your relationships. That is on September 12th. I want you to go to my website. Just go on the website and plug in www.michaeletstewart.com and register for that. So that's the 12th of September. But we have another program coming up after that. And that program is going to be on the 17th of September. And it is called Marriages Are Not Broken, People Are. If you're planning to get married, if you are in a relationship, if you're married, if you're divorced, whatever it is, I want you to log on to that program so that you can be part of it. This one cost, however, is $350 or $60 US. It's on a Saturday evening. We would be more than happy to walk you through some tools that will give you the longevity in your relationship that you want. Going in and out of relationships not going to bring you happiness. I promise you that. Yes, sir. Right. Oh, so let me see. Anybody wrote down what the topics we covered so far? There is no. Sandra said there's no man shortage. A number of women have more than one. You know, hey, today is not for the women. Today is to tell the women concerning men. But Sandra says something that I wouldn't remember that next week. So when I came home, my wife is watching one of these shows that they have on, I think must be one of those sitcoms and so on. And a woman has twins. And the twins that are for two different men. The same birth of twins. And so she was sharing with me that apparently they brought in a doctor that said if a woman has a sex with a man and then few days after have sex with a different man, and she tends to, I think, is ovulate twice. You know these big words and them. That's something my wife explained to me. It is possible that she can make twins, a boy and a girl, or two different men. So it was one of those court cases where you're trying to find out who's your father. I find that is a reprehensible show because you're taking people's private life, make it a money business, and put it on TV. But anyway, people like watching it. So they said, you know, the judge comes and he says, if you are the father of so and so, so and so, and then they give you the results of the paternity test. Neither of the men in court was the father. She has twins for two men. Two different men, the DNA says. And neither of the two in the court happen to be the father. Yeah, that just happened today. I just thought I'd share it because Sandra said something that got me to go down that road. It wasn't the road I was going down, Sandra, but you caused that. Eva said, I older than I enjoyed my singleness, she says. Elon Gordon, yeah. Speak of provocation. All right, he's talking about, before when we talk about the gentleman, peace of mind is important. All right, Sandra posted it. She said, a man who does not keep his word, one, that's a man to avoid. A man who does not commit to the relationship, that's two. Yes, and a man who has anger issues is prone to violence. Stay away from that. All right, I think I gave 4, didn't I? Or that is it? Okay. Okay, these are 3. Alice says she's still single and I'm older than my 30s. Let's enjoy for now. Okay. Okay. Yes, Lamimi, that's magician work. So let's talk about, for those who have just joined us, we are talking about the men to stay away from. We're trying to advise the women today. Stay away from these type of men. They're not going to help you in any long-term relationship. If you're looking to settle down with a husband, if you're looking down to settle down with a stable relationship, somebody who take in your life somewhere, this is the kind of man not to bother with. It does not mean that every man who has any one of these would not make you a good man. I want to repeat that. Does not mean that any man who has any one of these would never make you a good man. I'm just saying this is a red flag. And you should be very cautious and hold your horses until you'll be able to find out more about this man. That's what I'm saying. So, anger issues were the last one. Number 4. Here's this one. Stay away from a man who has multiple children with multiple child mothers. This is a man who would have 4 and 5 children for 4 and 5 different mothers, and you are now in the relationship with this man, you are number 5. And I have met people who are in relationship with 8 and 9 children, and they are the 10th, yeah, and the 11th. Let me tell you, men live their life according to a pattern. Everybody live their life according to a pattern. In this case, we're talking about men. If the pattern shows up, there is not much deviation from that pattern. So I don't know why is it that some people feel that, yes, this is the way he was, but he will not do that to me. What makes you think that this bullet kills everybody else, but somehow or the other the bullet is not going to kill you? That's how it is. Can he change? Of course. Can a man have 8 or 9 children from 8 or 9 women and then change, and this is the point in change? Of course, I believe so. It doesn't remove the fact that it's a red flag. He may have a propensity, an inclination towards a weakness. Yeah, he might have some form of vulnerability towards women, and you cannot ignore that. All right. There are certain men who women love to have children for them. True. But today's men we're talking about. So you don't want a young buck to take your care of? Don't settle along with them men who looking for a woman to take care of you. Okay. He's a breeder. Stallion. Okay. Now, so that's number 4. So if he has a set of women, let me tell you, he has already gotten a taste of what it is. And some of these men, the reason why they have different women, a number of reasons. Number one, they may have these women at their disposal and don't have the discipline to withhold themselves from these women. You may also find that some men, they get their self-affirmation, their self-esteem from being admired by another woman. It renews his consciousness that I am desirable still. He needs that because he does not have his own confidence in self. He needs to find that confidence in somebody else, in what they do, or the fact that they like him, or the fact that they are willing to go for him. That might be it. But then that also speaks of an underlying issue. Because how long is he going to keep that up for if he has to always go with another woman? So, now some people say uniformed men, stay away from uniformed men. Well, I don't want us to brandish and paintbrush all uniformed men, because there are some honorable uniformed men. But there is a high chance, because of the attraction that many women have for uniformed men, that uniformed men tend at times, not all of them, to like the attention that they get from all these women. All right, Kyle says excitement they want. Messina say in Tobago, the practice is that a man needs to know if you can have children first before with you, or that what they want you to accept. Ian says yes, he agrees that some women are more attracted to them, and I think it might be the fact of uniformed men. All right. Mosina, I tend to agree with you that because I've heard some men say that they're not marrying cat in bag. The woman must prove that she could make a child first before he marries her, or before he gets into any serious relationship. But then that relationship, she makes a child for him, and then he realizes, I'm not really interested in this one here. And then he goes to our next lady, and she has to prove that she can make a child too. And then it didn't work out. He goes to our next one. She needs to prove that she can make a child too. So he comes out good on every end. She is holding the bag, school fee, and everything else for the next 18 years. Women, be careful who you select. Don't get offended at that statement. I've seen one government minister got his job cancelled because of making that statement. I'm not a politician, and so they can't fire me for having to state, because I think it is something that is worth going for. I tell people, if you're going to go into an area in the night driving that you don't know, be careful. Be careful which street you're going. Be careful where you will go at night. Be careful who you will go with. And in a relationship, it is no different. Just be careful who you go with. All right. My goodness, all of these things that you all see in there, I'll have to read some of them after. Okay, so we're talking about that. All right. Number 5. So number 4 was be careful of these men who have multiple children from multiple women. Number 5. I want you to be able to recognize if you have a guy, especially if you just met the guy, and he seems anxious to go to bed, anxious for sex, there's a high chance that is what he's there for. That is what he wants. You trying to take the discussion down a road, and his hands is all over you, and you're asking, "Well, why are you touching me?" You understand? He's there for that. So when you give in to him, if you give in to him on the first night, the earlier you give in to such a man is the faster you have brought the relationship to an end. Because if he's there for that, once he gets it, he has excuses why he can't call you again, or why you can't get him on his phone, or why he's not passing again, because he has met his goal. If a man is therefore so thirsty, buy him a Coke. Don't give him none. Because let me tell you, your cookie cannot be eaten by everybody and still be good for baking after. Take that from me. Joy. Joy say he just want to empty his back. What is in his back, Joy? Anyway, see you all, yeah? Hey, good evening, Joan Phillips Pierre. Good night, everyone. She says Joan is in the States. Yep. Woodbridge, Virginia. I wonder if Joan in work, but Joan is a nurse. She has been one of those people who have been helping us through this whole COVID thing and so on. I wonder if she is in work. Who is it then now? So some women naively think that it's because of her beauty why he can't keep his hands off of you. Even if, as long as you have certain parts on your body, he doesn't need beauty. Once a man who is just conscious of only wanting that, he does not care about your beauty. You think that it is because of that you are so gorgeous that he wants to give it. No, sir. It's because of the parts you have on you. And until a man comes into your life who understands and values you, you hold on to that. That's a touch and go. Okay. Rose says both ways. I know what the Rose talking about with this both ways. Keep the cookie jar closed. That's right. Oh, Joan is in work. Okay, Joan, thanks for dropping in. Nijon, Mike, they may pretend wait around for years without, and when they get it, they still gone because they just met their goal. Well, the thing is, if a man stays around for a long time without having it, it increases the chance that he might be interested in you. Because why is he holding on for so long? Why is he holding on for so long? Unless he's after something else, which may be you. All right. So, yeah, Joan, he wants to see where your legs are joined. Joan and those who have just joined us, we are looking at the men to avoid in relationships. That's the topic tonight. Next week, we're talking about the women to run fast from, put in overdrive and put in your 6th gear in your vehicle. Dip your accelerator and speed out of there. Next week, we're talking about that. Today, we're talking about the men to avoid. All right. So, so the one that we are on is avoid a man who very touchy. You just meet him, you're not going out with him, and he wants to hold you up as though you are his woman already, and all of this thing. And even if you are in a relationship, he has to be pushing for sex and so on early in the relationship. No. The man little, I guess he dehydrated. But don't let him get hydrated off of you. Let him go and cool off elsewhere. Take a cold shower. Yeah. Put him on hold. Is to offer him an ice pack. Let him cool off, says Joy. Nee said like they pretend. Right, okay. My goodness. Joy says sometimes they make a pact with another man that he will get it. You hear what Joy say? Or you really think men that make pact and make agreement and say, I want to bet you so and so, I will get it from she, or I'll get it by so and so. Tell me about the thing so. Elon say he put you to right. Uh-huh. Jones say, watch the man who bar talk his last girlfriend. Yeah. That's a good one. Sandra said, I had a co-worker, I had to put my device to charge. I think we all smoke it up so much with all these comments. I had a co-worker whose husband told her he only got married because he knew he wouldn't get anything before marriage. He left after a few months. Wow. Show him how to take a cold cover. He too thirsty. Yes, that is a bragging man. That's true. Yes, they have bets. All right, so Lenora says, yes, they have bets. True story I'm giving you now. Wait, by the time gone and I only hit 5, I had, lady, I had about 4 more to give all. Sorry for you all. I did not even recognize the time run already. True story. This is it. I know of a gentleman who said his partners bet, this is a Friday that they are making the bet, that they, to see who can come on Monday to work and see how many women they met for the first time and had sex with them between the Friday when they leave work and the Monday when they come to work. And they place money on the table to see who will win that bet to have the most. And of course, they need to come with evidence. You hear what's going on out there, ladies? So when all they think, oh, it's so nice and so gorgeous, these men so thirsty for you all, they're looking for all of them that really demonstrate that are easy target in order to win those type of bets. There are some women, those guys would never get the bet. They will lose money bad, but there are some women, those guys will get their money's worth. I know some of you will vex with me after today's program. Messina said, when you put a hold freeze on it, they present themselves as chill with you and they on the fire, they're not with you. Okay. All right. Anyway, all you have me things. So let me go and finish up here. I'll run them through because I don't want to come back to the men's issue next week. I want to deal with the women. All right. So we just dealt with he's anxious to go to bed. Number 6, men who have nothing, own nothing, and doing nothing. Run. Women, you hear me? He owns nothing. He's a big man. He is doing nothing. He has nothing going for him for his future. Then you are a plaything. If he has nothing, what is he doing looking for a woman? One of the first things to demonstrate that you're serious in life, unless of course you're just passing through. So when I see some little boys who have nothing, doing nothing with their lives, have no intentions, no future more than play arcade and video games And they have all of these women and so on. And I'm trying to say, how do they choose these guys? This guy turns around and ends up to be the father of your child. You are still a teenager, or sometimes it's a big woman already, and the man still is doing nothing with his life. You are now pregnant with his child, and he has no way of supporting that child because he has nothing. Stay away. Can't stay too long on that because we got to move on. Men without a future. Number 8, a cheap man. These are the men who want to live off of you as a woman. These are the men who will take you out to dinner and then turn around and ask you to split the bill after you have already eaten. Cheap. These are the men who will not take pride in saying that, I've taken out a woman, I want to treat her nice. It's a birthday, I want to do this and so on. No, he wants your car. He wants to move in with you in your apartment. He wants to be able to loaf off of you because I've sat down with these guys and I've heard some of them say, I looking for a woman who have she whole life together. She must have a good job. She must have a car. She must have her own apartment. And what he does during the day, many of them that I found, they go to the gym. So they have flat stomach, 6-pack, 9-pack. Well, it's supposed to be a even number pack. Yeah, some of them are 9, man. Anyway, an even number thing. They look sturdy, buff, handsome men. And that's all they bring to the table. And these professional women, glad to have them drive the car while they sit down in the passenger seat. Glad to post them on Facebook. And then when you settle down in a relationship with them, they contribute nothing. And then you are frustrated because you have all the bills and he's eating and he's doing this and you have to do everything and you just recognize he has nothing. And then now you're looking to jettison him. Watch that guy. That guy is not a good guy to go with. Let him come something with the table. Let him choose that. Some of them actually say that they want a woman who has all her degrees. All right. A song in Jealous. Oh, God. You all right, yeah? Okay. Trophy men is what Sandra call them. So those cheap men, leave them alone. Tight-fisted men, they would not help you. They are not contributing to it. Some of them have money. Some of them have good jobs. But they're in a relationship with you, but they do not want to contribute to you at all. It's not that, and I don't want to, it's a song that those women are looking for money from men. But they must know, never be in a relationship with a man who does not improve you. Let me say that again. Never be in a relationship with a man who does not improve you. If you are better off without him, then stay without him. And men, make yourself so valuable that a woman should want you because you improve her. You add to her life. Finally, a man who has excesses in his life. Excess. Not excess money, but excesses. He drinks, he limes a lot every day, every weekend. He likes sex, he likes orgies, he likes all kind of things, drugs, all of that, because his life is just a whole big happy hour. Now that may be fun. When all of these functions come up, you have somebody who will be willing to go out and enjoy themselves and so on. When he's done, he's drunk and he say, yes, I enjoy myself and so on. But would he settle down as a good father? Is he going to settle down as a good husband and so on? I'm just saying, it's a red flag. It's a red flag. Now, he could very well be a good husband and father. I'm not going to doubt that. But what are the chances? Would you turn around and complain? Yeah. Anyway, sorry I can't go more into it, but next week, all you come back, you see all of you who come here today to hear what men are and what men to avoid. I want all of you to come back next week, Thursday, 9 o'clock, when we talk about women to avoid, and bring the men. All your men, bring men, and let's talk about that. So true, sir. Thirsty, desperate, insecure, says Messina. Leash, call me John. These men are leash, he call them. Trophy men. Now, just remember, it's not all men, eh? Some of these men, just these men that we point out. Sometimes because loneliness, women choose these bad qualities. Jones said we have to be careful which men we call cheap. Some men are accustomed taking care of their own bills. As a bachelor, when they are married, we have to knock that off and work with them. My husband was like that. All right. Yeah. Now, I'm not talking about those men, Jones. I'm talking about those who willfully say, I want a woman who will take care of me. They go out there to target those women while they go to the gym. This is not somebody who has been accustomed being a bachelor for long and so therefore needs a little time to adjust that, hey, listen, there's our money and so we need to now share things and so on. That's completely different. Don't worry, I'm coming next week, brother. Joy, I'm looking out for you. Nice. Marking the woman's face for the woman to avoid, yes. So just take the note of all them women who are on the live here today. All right, so that brings us down to the program. This has been a wonderful program. My name is Michael Stewart. This is Mike at Night. I enjoy having you all every Thursday because we talk here relationships. We try for you to be able to hear the truth, the raw truth, the brutal truth. We're not holding back because people vex. They're vexed. But I'm telling you the truth. If you take my word, you could save yourself a lot of emotional pain and you could reassess the relationships you enter into. We are here every Thursday doing that. Check me on my Facebook page also. Hit me up or just send me a message, 688-5363. 868 if you're calling outside of the country, 688-5363. Let's connect. If you're looking for private counseling, relationship counseling, I do that. And you could go to my website and schedule a session with you, your boyfriend, or you alone, or counseling if you want to make some good decisions in relationships. Yes, and the website is www.michaelatstewart.com. So go up there and register for any workshop that we have there and for counseling session. Let me thank the wonderful director once more, Mr. Sidney Jones, for holding down the fort. Efficient young man. That's a man. Hey, let me tell you, Sidney Jones is a good man. That's a good man. Well brought up. Have standards. And the man with character. All right. Wonderful. Thank you all very much. I'm Michael Stewart. This is Mike at Night. We'll catch you next week, Thursday, 9 o'clock. Same station. Right here. Bye now.
Dictate your pace. I stayed cool every time I got into my vehicle, and you can too. At Tow School Center of 31 Gaskin Bay Road, Bonaccord, they specialize in auto air conditioning with parts and services catering to your car's needs. Call and ask for tows at 660-8777 or 788-3535. Tow School Center, where a comfortable ride is a cool ride. Don't let the weather of the day dictate your pace. I stayed cool every time I got into my vehicle, and you can too. At Tow School Center of 31 Gaskin Bay Road, Bonaccord, they specialize in auto air conditioning with parts and services catering to your car's needs. Call and ask for tows at 660-8777 or 788-3535. Tow School Center, where a comfortable ride is a cool ride.